Hello, welcome to Popalong RC, the RC car channel dedicated to RC car racing. It's time to talk Schumacher Vibe FT. So here is the Vibe FT budget fronty. So we've got interesting things on this car is the fact that the ESC is way out the front here. What that does is that gives you weight at the front, so you get better drive into the front wheels. And because the ESC is so far forward, I needed to get this long balance cable and apply it to the motor, which is way back there. So that is the setup I've done. By putting the ESC at the front, what that meant is I didn't need to add any additional weight. So at the moment, this is as light as I can get it. So the cutoff for racing is 1250 is the weight you want. And I am running these batteries here. So these are the Rapid batteries. There's a link in the description down below. And as you can see, these are a slightly wider battery. So these are the tall ones. You can get slimmer ones, which are a little bit smaller. But with this battery in, this weighs in, I think it's about 20 grams over. So this is sitting at about 1270. Or maybe it's 1274. So it was a little bit heavy running the slightly bigger batteries. But you know what? I could potentially go with a slightly slimmer battery than this. And as a result, I'll be able to get the weight down. But I might need to then add some lead weights to bring the weight back up. But what I wanted to do today is talk to you a little bit about car setup. So in here, we've got the kit setup. And over here, we've got test driver setup. And the kit setup is how I built this car up. So if we have a little look at some of the details and some of the things that I changed throughout the day, the first thing we've got is additive time. All right, so it says there 15 minutes before for both front and rear. Now, I was running a brand new set of tyres, and because you've got drive and you've got friction going through the front wheels, you can see that the line that runs down the center of these tires is completely gone. I was also running new tires on the back, but they don't get the same drive, therefore they don't get the same wear. So what I had to do is take the old tires off of my FT9 and put them on this car to level out the balance, because I had some scrubbed in fronts after round one and the rears were completely new and shiny, and therefore there was an imbalance in the tyres straight away. So the first thing I did, which made a big difference, was put the different tyres on the back. But again, because I wanted more grip at the back, I applied my additive for 15 plus minutes. But at the front, I only put the additive on 5 minutes before. So therefore, again, slightly less grip at the front. Another thing that I tend to do with my touring cars is, you can see a slightly shiny surface there. I've actually put super glue on the sidewalls, and again that will help later on when the grip comes up with traction roll. I haven't got enough grip in this car as it stands to be causing any traction roll or too much grip, so that's something that I can work on as we move forward. So moving down the page, this is where it becomes a little bit more interesting. Now, there's one step in the build that I didn't measure, and that was my droop. So I set up the car to the manual. Slight oversight on my part, I didn't do the droop, and there was a real imbalance in the droop settings at the rear of the car, and that was causing the car to sort of twitch somewhat in the early rounds. But then ride height wise, I had it all set up, so it was around 5 and about half a mil higher. Here it's only 0.2. that they run. And then camber is at 2 degrees and the toe there is at 3. On the day, we were playing around with the rear camber, and I put it on the setup gauges a couple of times. So in terms of rear toe now, I think we're sitting at about 2.5. So it's actually between the 3 on this one and the 2 on this one. So we're sitting about 2.5 degrees of toe at the rear, and that seemed to work really nicely. At the front of the car, I did set the toe out to 1 degree. We actually increased that on the day. I think we went up to 1.5 by the time we got to the final. So slight change again there with the way the car handles in the turns. In terms of all these bits, again, I've just kept it completely box stock. The other thing that I did change, and if we come down here, we can see the springs that I had in was the orange and the grey, and then over here they've got blue and orange, and I actually went with these ones here, which are the brown, and as you can see they've got wide springs at the bottom and slightly narrow ones at the top, so it's a more progressive damping on these springs, and they seemed to do the trick. So that was a little bit of advice I took from some of the locals that were running at the track. So straight out the box, I'm really happy with it. I think it is a solid platform. There is still more to come. This is literally the first run of the car. So I think if I go to a Carpet Legends event or to that track again with this car as it is, I know I'm starting in a really good place and I can start to fine tune it. But I'm really happy that I've got the car to a place where it is competitive. And actually I know I won the E final, I would have been middle of the pack in the D final based on sort of the laps that I did in my final. So real progress was made throughout the day, with a little bit of graft. So again, thanks for everyone that lent a hand and added their input. I really value everybody's input when it comes to car setup, because obviously if you've got more experience, it's really helpful to pass it on to the less knowledgeable. So that is the Vibe FT. So there you go. If you've liked this video, like, subscribe, hit the old ding dong bell, and hopefully we'll see you trackside soon.